Okay, y'all, I just came out here because I have some little basil starts that I was going to plant up in a spot down near some of my tomato plants, and I gotta show you this. I just about got attacked by a bird. Let me show you why. Okay, so do you remember my egg chairs and the bird's nest that was on one of them? Last weekend, I believe it was Friday, last Friday, so a little less than a week ago, there's the bird's nest. It was emptied. The eggs that were in it hatched. They grew up in it. I kind of showed it in some of my vlogs. And then they, flew away. So last Friday, I cleaned up the chair. Look at that. In less than a week, you've got to be kidding. Why is this spot so appealing? And look, again. Oh my gosh. So she's over here screaming at me because she was mad that I was just walking down my rock path here, and now she's screaming at me. But I'm, once again, I guess, gonna wait a few weeks and clean off that bird's nest. But can you, I mean, seriously? Like, they're taking the term egg chair to a whole new level. Like, these birds are just determined. And it's the same kind of bird. What are you gonna do? Live and let live. It's nice to have birds around, I guess. I like to listen to them, so I guess we'll be documenting the story of this bird's nest and the birds that hatch out of that. I think I only saw 2 eggs. It's hard for me to see. I just kind of hold my camera kind of far away to look into it so that I don't get too close to it. I think I only saw 2 eggs, but I'm gonna have to stay out of my egg chairs for another few weeks. But let's go plant this basil. I have a bunch of stuff I want to plant, and then I'm going to show you what is my private shame. Okay, so I want a whole bunch more flowers in my garden, so I have went through, this is basils. These are basils that I'm going to start from seed. Try once again. I had some of it sprout, and then I don't know whether the dirt got real dry, and then they didn't make it. So I'm going to actually start them in bigger pots, because I started them in like these little tiny pots, and I don't think it turned out so well. So I have some over there in the window that started in bigger pots, and they look great. So I'm going to start the basils in bigger pots, and then I'm just going to rebel sow all these flowers. These couple, this one here, I'm going to start from seed in little pots, and then I'll transplant them. And I'm also going to coat some of these cotton balls with this peppermint oil. It's an essential oil. I got this big jar. I mix it with coconut oil. Like, I just put a drop in a few tablespoons of coconut oil, and this is what I rub on my body in the summer to keep bugs away. It works great, and you smell lovely while you're out in the garden getting dirty. So I'm going to put some cotton balls in here. Bloop. And then I'm going to, let's see if I can do this with one hand. Nope. It's got like a little dropper, and just do a whole bunch of drops. And then I'm going to take these. I'm still having an issue with certain things getting picked on, sunflowers, and now my nasturtiums, and my just my little flower seedlings that aren't established. Something just keeps coming along and just pulling them up out of the ground or decapitating them. So let's see if they like this scent, little jerks. I had one of you fantastic viewers give me this idea. Okay, got my cotton balls, got my bowl full of seeds and some tags. Let's roll outside. So any little corner that I've been having an issue with chipmunks or squirrels or whatever it is, I'm just tossing a cotton ball This corner right here, oh my golly. If it dug it up again. I put this poor little seedling back in here. Okay. I'm gonna put that cotton ball, rub it in there real good. And then I'm gonna put one over here because it's like they like to steal the stuff out of the corners of my beds. Alright, I definitely need some where my gourds are. Alright, now for some rebel sowing. I am just going to, as far as marigolds, I'm just going to put marigolds. I got this really large, I'm going to do Swiss chard up there by my cucumbers, but let's see here. I got zinnias, nasturtiums. Alright, let's label some stuff first. Okay, so another thing I wanted to show you was I have quite an issue. These are on my deck, my planters on my deck. I have quite the issue with keeping things alive because the soil dries out so quickly. So I decided to give this a try and see if this works. It's called Miracle-Gro water storing crystals. I got these on Amazon. They have different brands. I just got these ones, but I'm putting a decent amount. It tells you on the back how much you need. So like for a 4-inch pot, you need a half a teaspoon. At 1 gallon, you need 2 teaspoons. I'm guessing this is like, I don't know, 4, maybe 3 or 4 gallons. So I think I've done more than enough in here. And I think what I'm gonna do, and I'm just kind of mixing it in. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to plant, I have a few more micro dwarfs. Believe it or not, I'm gonna put some micro dwarfs up on my deck here. And I also am going to plant some flowers. And I was also thinking maybe Swiss chard. Maybe not Swiss chard. I don't know what else. I've got 4. I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one's got some lettuce growing in it because I imagine some of the seeds kind of drifted off there, fell into that one. So I'm just trying to let the lettuce grow, see what happens. I don't know, maybe I'll do a mint or something in here. I'm really trying to get the crystals down in there pretty well. And I'll let you know how these do. I'm also going to, in this big red tub up here, mix up a whole bunch of potting mix and then put in a bunch of the crystals in the potting mix. And then I'm going to fill this green pocket thing, because I thought this would be cool to grow. I have like these ornamental kales and lettuces and things, but you see there's not like a whole lot of a pocket there. So I just don't know how well stuff is going to grow and how I just don't have to water this all the dang time. And I thought the pockets were a little bit bigger. They're not. So I don't know what I am going to be doing with this. I think it would be cooler, and I could look it up to see if they have one of these that's bigger with with bigger pockets. I know they have like long ones. I don't know. I'm gonna figure out what I can do with this. So I just planted some more dwarf tomatoes here, and as I was planting this one up, I must have disturbed a little ant infestation, and from what I read, ants don't like the peppermint oil either, so I put down some cotton balls, just dotted them all around, and I'm inside my greenhouse now. I'm not sure that ants really bother tomato plants, but I just don't want all these ants right here. This is kind of like, you know, I touch the ground and they'll be all over me. So we'll see if I can't get rid of them with some cotton balls covered in peppermint oil. Yeah, it must be right here. Look at them all coming out of that hole. That transplanted pretty good. Now I'm bringing you to my front yard, which can be lovely, but at this very moment is not. It's very shameful. There's weeds everywhere, leaves from the fall. It's just quite the mess. I need to clean up my sidewalk. There's thistle. Ugh, that thistle. There's actually some plants planted in here. That right there is a black-eyed Susan. I believe that's a hollyhock. And usually at the end of the season, I do not like deadhead my plants. I leave the seeds for the birds, but this is just a mess. And can somebody tell me what kind of weed this is? It is everywhere. It's like taken over my yard and my garden beds. There's another hollyhock, I believe. Now this butterfly bush looked like that really cold snap that we had killed it. But look at the new growth there at the bottom. So I'm going to trim off all that dead wood. I just need to clean up these beds and mulch them well. That rose bush, that bit the dust. So I need to get something else to plant right there in the corner. I've just got all kinds of things in these beds, but they're not very pretty right now because it's just a mess. So if we keep walking down toward the road, there is this long rock wall that I built all along the front of our property. And then I had put some flower beds behind it, and they're just a mess. I've got some red hot pokers. I planted a few of the things that I winter sowed in this area last year. There's a rose bush that I'm pretty sure is dead. It's fought the good fight, but it just did not make it this winter. But see, you can't see the pretty flowers for this nasty weed. I planted those, the little yellow ones, the little red ones there. They're just overtaken by that stupid weed. I've got a heuchera, big stupid weed there. I mean, this is just shameful. Shameful. This just makes me cringe. There's just all kinds of stuff tucked into here, and I need to get this place cleaned up so I can enjoy what is beautiful. I've also got this pokeweed over in this area that I just cannot get rid of. So I'm thinking this year I'm going to plant a ton of stuff and maybe I can drown it out with flowers. Here's some more pretty flowers that I winter sowed last year and stuck in this bed. And then ice plant I propagated. A couple more things. There's my black prince snapdragons hidden behind there. My rose bush needs pruned a little bit. It's gone kind of wild. This is the only rose bush I've ever been able to keep alive, and that looks good. And then here's my row of heucheras. I love these heucheras. I have transplanted these everywhere in my yard. They have these wispy little pink flowers that come up. See, look, right there. That's a tree. That is a tree. I need to get out of here. Anytime I ever see a new variety of heuchera, I pick it up because I love it. Right here at my lamppost, I have a clematis that I'm trying to train to grow up and around the light post. So I have this like chicken wire that I kind of poke it through every year. And then right here is my gorgeous weeping cherry tree. It needs pruned. Oh, there's a bird's nest. Oh, I planted a little tiny patch of that last year. It looks like it's spreading. Oh yeah, there's the other little patch. It's getting bigger. Oh, my little memorial statue for my rabbit Stu. This is where he was buried a couple years back. I got this little thing at a yard sale and I painted it with white bunny with gray ears, just like my Stu man. More gorgeous heucheras. They are just so unique and so pretty. I love them, and they're so easy to propagate. I keep propagating these as well. These are some orange colored coneflowers all along my walkway here. Also wanted to talk about this. So you can see I always leave my plants to like go to seed, and then I leave this stuff. I'm not even sure what this is at this point. I just, as you know, I plant things all over the place. Lots of weeds everywhere, but at the same time, if I didn't leave these, I leave these, one reason for the birds and the animals through the winter, because they'll eat the seeds and stuff. I might have thought this was a weed if this hadn't been laying here with it, because I actually don't know what this is. So I usually leave things like this until I kind of know what I've got. I believe I planted this thing, and I planted that last year, but of course it's already flowering and really pretty, so I knew what that is. It's not a weed. And then snapdragons, I'm really familiar with those. Now this is starting to come up over here, so I can kind of tell. Oh, it spreads too. Okay. But that's one of the reasons why I leave the flowering stalks, just so I know that there is a plant there. That's not a weed. Don't dig it up. Now, that might be a tip for you if you're not really familiar with the plants that you have yet, just to leave stuff kind of, I know it's not the most appealing to look at through the winter, all your dead plants, but you know, you can feed the birds as well as mark your plants for next year until you know what you've planted, if you're somebody that plants a bajillion things like me and then forgets that she planted stuff. Back to that butterfly bush. So this is like a dwarf variety of butterfly bush. It doesn't get very big, but when I went to clean it up, these branches just snap right off. Look, that's another one of the dwarf butterfly bushes. I am going to transplant that one to someplace different. That's the first time it has seeded itself. Sweet. So what was one has become two. Every year I trim my gorgeous weeping cherry tree, and it just gets bigger and bigger and more magnificent. But now I've got all this mess to clean up. Slowly but surely, this area is coming along. So I've got most of this area pretty well weeded. I'm gonna come back with, it's like a blowtorch weeding tool, and blowtorch my my walkway here and try to kill the weeds. But this is where I ended up. I didn't move that butterfly bush too far. I just planted it right here. So hopefully it transplants okay. We shall see. So normally I'd be sitting over there in my 8 chairs enjoying relaxation and reading, but since there are baby birds trying to be hatched, I am going to sit here and read You Bet Your Tomatoes and finish up Epic Tomatoes. I'm almost done. My gosh, it's taken me long enough to finish this book. Hopefully I can get a review up for you guys.